on Revolution Radio, and it's August 9th, 2016. So tonight I am having Authoress Terry Lyle come on, and she's going to talk about her autobiography called Broken. And it's about how she overcame depression. So that should really be interesting. And before I bring her on, just wanted to let you know that, the quantum leap is really not over. As long as we have wars and people doing really nasty stuff to each other, it's not over yet. So we are going to have another jump into enlightenment on September 22nd. We're going to try again every time we do it, things move forward. We go a little bit higher, but I won't be happy until wars are totally over. Then I will know we are into the golden age of enlightenment. So in the meantime, like I said, we're going to have another shot, another big leap on the September 22nd. And, let's make this a big one. Because what are we waiting for? If it's not us, then, who's it going to be? So share with your friends September 22nd, which is, equinox or solstice, one of those two. I always get them mixed up. Equinox. All right. And all you have to do that day is just chant as much as you think about it. May divine enlightenment descend around everyone now. May divine enlightenment awaken within everyone now. May divine enlightenment descend around everyone now. May divine enlightenment awaken within everyone now. That's not hard, okay? So mark your calendars and write that down. And, you can get to my Facebook page, and this is written down so you can make a copy of it and put it on your refrigerator or your computer so you won't forget. And let's get into a little news before we bring Terry on. Did you know what Google has done? Now, this is from the Middle East Monitor, August 4th, 2016. The Palestinian Journalists Forum has denounced Google for deleting the name of Palestine from its maps and replacing it with Israel. Gag me. In a statement released yesterday, the forum said Google's decision to remove Palestine from its maps on 25th of July is part of the Israeli scheme to establish its name as a legitimate state for generations to come and abolish Palestine once and for all. Boy, I have to say it sure does look like it, doesn't it? Now, the move is also designed to falsify history, geography, as well as the Palestinian people's right to their homeland, and a failed attempt to tamper with the memory of Palestinians and Arabs as well as the world. The forum said the move was contrary to all international norms and conventions, stressing that Google should backtrack on its actions. Yeah, Palestine is legit, for God's sake. What is wrong with them? And I am not anti-Israel, but I'm pro-Palestine, and I don't believe in any group of people that should be allowed to do genocide to another group of people, which is exactly what Israel is doing. And just by them coming up and saying, oh my God, you're anti-Zionist or whatever, and they come after people who speak out against them because they see it like it truly is, they are still doing genocide. And it's very, very sad. I know there are some Israelis that are for peace, and I bless them, and I send them energy. And I hope one day they take over that country. But in the meantime, you have to acknowledge what Israel is doing. You can't have a blind eye to it like people did at one time with South Africa and the apartheid that was happening there. Genocide is genocide. And as far as I'm concerned, boycott everything from Israel until they create peace. And, and for all those people that are pro Israel, you might want to think about what happens when you send all those bombs into Palestine, and they're dirty bombs and they're full of chemicals and maybe a little nuclear material. Where in the hell do you think that goes? You don't think it doesn't seep into your groundwater, Israel? And, you can't build that wall high enough to stop that airflow and all that drifting down into Israel. And let me ask you another question. How much has your cancer rate gone up, Israel? And if that's not enough to stop the bombs and start really actually talking about peace and stop being land grabbing, I don't know what is, because you're killing yourself. And putting all that chemical into those areas, killing off all that life. I mean, come on. You don't think it goes away? You can't scrub that away with bleach. It's there to stay. And you move your own people in, you're killing your own people. So, that's kind of what an insane act, don't you think? Killing people with chemicals so you can move onto their property, but those chemicals aren't going away anywhere, and they're going to kill anybody who goes there and moves in, no matter what religion, no matter what race. Now, how insane is that? I'll answer, pretty insane. And shame on you, Israel. God. Now, if that's not a reason to really work toward enlightenment, I don't know what is. Whew. After that, let's just do a little light worker clearing, okay? I don't know about you, but I could use it. So just sit down, close your eyes, or just stand there and close your eyes. And I call to Michael the Archangel to cut all ties to any dark force that is around any light worker, especially anyone listening. We tie and bind that dark force and send it through the violet flame to clean the energy up and send it back to the divine. Fill that space up with an angel of protection and love and abundance. See all light workers filling up with so much light that they become divine magnets for everything they need to fulfill their divine missions. See all light workers and their families, friends, totally protected at all times. I ask that all light workers and their divine missions are placed in a bubble of invisibility so they cannot be seen by the dark forces. See all the groups standing up for humanity, putting their egos aside and working together, helping each other on all levels. And in each and every one of your homes, I'm going to anchor the violet ray with your permission, the transmuting ray, and allow that energy to expand, fill up the room, expand throughout the whole house, and transmute any dark energy, all negative thought forms to light. And then fill that space up with this divine peace. And I'm going to take a deep breath and release it. Now, I don't know if this has been brought to your attention, but I think you really need to pay attention because this is something President Obama signed his name to. It's H.R. 347. And it officially makes it a federal offense to cause a disturbance and certain political events, essentially criminalizing protest in the states. So under H.R. 347, the Federally Restricted Buildings and Grounds Improvement Act of 2011 had overwhelmingly passed the U.S. House of Representatives. After only 3 lawmakers voted against it on Thursday this week, President Obama inked his name to the legislation and authorized the government to start enforcing a law that has many Americans concerned over how the bill could bury the rights to assemble and protest as guaranteed in the U.S. Constitution. Now, under H.R. 347, which has more commonly been labeled the trespass bill by Congress, I call it the Protect Your Ass bill. Knowingly entering a restricted area that is under jurisdiction of Secret Service protection can garner an arrest. The law is actually only a slight change to earlier legislation that made it an offense to knowingly and willfully commit such a crime under the trespass bill's latest language chance. However, someone could end up in a law enforcement custody for entering an area that they don't realize is Secret Service protected and engages in disorderly or disruptive conduct or impedes or disrupts the orderly conduct of government business or official functions. The Secret Service serves as the police that protects not just current and former American presidents, but are also dispatched to monitor special events of national significance, a category with a broad cast of qualifiers. In the past, sporting events, state funerals, inaugural addresses, and NATO and the G8 summits have been designated as such by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the division that decides when and where the Secret Service are needed outside of their normal coverage. Mara Van Hayden Hillard of the Partnership for Civil Justice Funds tells the International Business Times that the trespass bill in its current form means it's easier to prosecute under knowingly instead of both knowingly and willfully, which is an issue because someone could knowingly enter a restricted area but not necessarily realize they are committing a crime. Speaking with IB Teams, Hillard tried to lay rest claims that the Constitution will be crippled by the trespass bill, but acknowledges that it does indeed allow law enforcement to have added incentive to arrest protesters who could be causing a disturbance. H.R. 347 has been described as the death knell for the First Amendment, but that isn't supported by the facts. This has always been a bad law. Bottom line, as Gabe Rotman of the American Civil Liberties Union adds, it doesn't create any new violations of the law. So far, however, it has raised awareness of the levels that the government is willing to go in order to make it harder to express oneself. Under the Act, protesting in areas covered by Secret Service could land a demonstrator behind bars. The thing about the Secret Service, in case you couldn't tell by their name, is that they don't always make it clear where they are. You could even say that the service they provide at times is kept secret. Presidential hopefuls, all the presidential hopefuls are now officially covered under Secret Service protection, making it a federal offense to disrupt a campaign stop. That means whether it's by way of a glitter bomb protest or causing a disturbance on the same Holiday Inn hotel floor that one of the presidential hopefuls is staying in, doing such could cause a bit of legal battle for the persons involved. And, don't you forget, the president can now also detain you for getting too close to his front yard, order your assassination if the country considers you a threat, and lock you away for life with no charge if you're alleged to be a terrorist. You, on the other hand, can't yell obscenities at really any of the presidential hopefuls without risking arrest. Now, what's really, really scary, guys, is this law went into effect in 2012. It shows you how much we pay attention, huh? And whether or not you see it really being put into action, it's like the Patriot Act. It's there when and where they ever need to use it. So we're going to bring Terry Lyle on, and we will see whether or not... Hi, Terry, are you there? Well, I tried dragging her on. I see her. Okay.
I'm dialing her.
As a last resort, we will dial. Do, 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 do. I know you guys love that song. Do, do.
Hello.
Hi, Terry. There you are.
Hey, darling. Let me go turn my TV off before that alarm comes on.
Hold on, baby.
Do 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 do. My singing getting better? Okay, thank you. And I wanted to give you the radiation reports real quick. Hey, Terry, just a minute. And
Okay.
for all of you that listened last week to the radiation reports, it's the same. It hasn't changed. It's high. We're screwed. Keep your cleansing up. Hi, Terry. There you are. We don't have to
Hey,
do visual.
darling.
Matter of fact, if you just
Huh?
don't do visual, just do audio. It'll come in better
Okay.
because this is
Okay,
radio.
well, how do I
Nobody's.
change it?
Oh,
Okay, I'll close the camera. Is that better?
that's better. Yeah. Nobody
Oh,
can see you. It's radio.
okay. Oh, good. Let me turn
Except
off my
me.
speaker to my Facebook and put my phone on mute so we don't have no background noise. All righty.
Well,
I
we are
am good to
talking.
go.
All
Only
right.
problem I would have, I don't know how to stop my phone from ringing, so I'll take my phone off the hook so it can't ring.
Brilliant.
Hear me, darling?
Yep, I do.
Cathy.
Are you ready?
Hello?
I can hear you, Terry.
Kathy?
Can you?
I can hear you. Okay, I can hear you. I turned off the speaker and I realized that's how I'm hearing you through the speaker. I took my phone off the hook so it can start beeping, like saying it's off the hook, so I can take it, make it stop ringing if someone call because I don't want to go out on the air.
All
Yeah, so
right.
I'm waiting for the phone to start, making that noise like it's busy. So I'm waiting.
Well, there we go. I hear the noise.
Yep.
All right, now you're ready?
Well, it hasn't stopped the ringing sound yet. You know how before when you take your phone off the hook, it goes to this and then then it stops altogether, and everybody knows your phone is busy.
Okay. You're like going out for a date and someone who just keeps getting ready.
Right. I gotta wait till that thing stops. I hope your show don't start right now.
Oh,
Until
honey, we're live, Terry.
We live right now.
Yes, we are. Surprise!
So people can hear us.
Oh, yeah, they've heard.
So they can hear people.
Oh, they've heard
Oh my
everything.
God! I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make sure that stop, and then no one can call my house and interfere on the broadcast. Everybody there listening, hey! I'm just
Oh,
trying to do this, trying to do the stupid stuff first. Wow, I feel like this is Dish Nation. That's going to stop shortly. Wow.
All right, almost. It sounds like outer space.
I know, like somebody's trying to send in a signal, like we've
Can you just?
contacted Earth.
Oh, right. It's done. All right.
It's
I think
gone.
it's
It's
done.
gone.
Oh my God. All right. Well, I hope that woke everybody up.
Yeah.
It's live radio. You never know what you're going to get. All
Exactly.
right. So now we have Terry Lyle, authoress Terry Lyle on. And Terry, tell us a little bit about yourself. I met you. I've done your radio show a couple of times. And, I've really had
Yes.
fun doing it, And what's the name of your show?
It's called Unmasked with Authoress Terry E. Lyle.
Right, and that's right in your picture. God, I got to wear my glasses. So I had cataract surgery, so everything's backwards. You know what I mean?
I understand.
That's on Tuesday. What day is your radio show on? What station?
Oh, it comes on every Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's on Blog Talk Radio. And if anyone wants to call in because it is a live show, they can call 347-945-6003. Or if they want to be a guest, they call me on my cell, which is 443-956-8753. And I'll get you into the schedule. Right now, only thing I got open right now is October. I'm booked through to October.
All right. Well, I'll remember that. I might call you up to get back on. So we're going to talk about
Okay.
your book, your new autobiography, and you've written many books, and it's
Right.
called Broken. Now, I just want to read this little blurb that I put down. I couldn't understand how I wound up here in a shelter for battered females, broke and disillusioned. Now, that is really pretty heavy. That I really believe also in this time where people are getting kicked out of their places and losing their jobs, that this is something that many people can relate to.
Yeah, Kathy, I'm a preacher's kid, so I grew up in an environment of love and protection. And I had my mom, my dad, my aunts and uncles telling me do this, do that. And so I was pretty much a quiet child. I listened. I was a mama's girl. But the thing is, after I got married and my husband cheated on me, that's when the spiral out of control started.
Oh man, he just
And
didn't
I
cheat on you. He was really drugs and everything else, wasn't he?
Yes, my ex-husband, he was into the occult, which was scary. He was into drugs. He's now currently an alcoholic who is afraid to come out of his home, even onto his porch. And he lives with a hood rat. And a hood rat is a person who is usually from the ghetto that, just do anything just to get by with their little welfare checks each month, don't have no ambitions to do nothing spectacular.
Well, damn, you can
But
see why
anyway,
you spiral drown, you know? I mean,
yeah,
really. I mean,
yeah. But
and for to have you come out, and I have to say, and talk about this is very brave of you.
well, Kathy, what's considered brave to me is I consider it to be something that needs to be told because I realize my situation is not unique, and there's a lot of other females out there, quiet as kept, that's embarrassed to let someone know in their families or close by that they're in a dysfunctional relationship. And I need to tell my story so people know there is help out there. And one thing I want people to know that are in bad relationships, if this person isolates you, don't want you talking to your friends or your family, or want to tell you that you got to be home a certain time after you get off from work, those are the signs of a person who's abusive and they need to have control. And they first start by talking down to you, telling you that you ain't worth this or that. Next thing you know, they're putting their hands on you. And even if you got children, you don't have a job, you don't have any money, there are places to go that helps battered women with kids, and can help get you back on your feet. Don't ever feel like I don't work, I don't have no money, I can't pay the bills, I can't do it. Wrong answer. Go to the front page of your yellow pages and go to crisis intervention and get some help right away, because a lot of people don't make it out. A lot of people are found dead because these people, they have that rage inside their mind, that need for control. They don't realize that they're over the top.
Well, let's just be honest with everybody. This is not something that you came to deal with really quickly. How long were you married to
Yes.
this guy?
Well, he was my first boyfriend at the age of 13. He got me as a virgin. I didn't lose my virginity till I was almost 18. And when it happened, I was so devastated because I was brought up that you don't have sex before marriage. So it was like devastation, crying the whole 10 yards. And so there was no more sexual activity until he put a ring on it and he married me. And then I guess from that point, uh, together for another 5 years. So this guy was my one and only love. If he had told me that the sky was purple, I would have thought it was purple, even though I know it's blue and white.
So I just look at it as, you were a preacher's daughter, you lived in the light, and this is, you had morals. And then, if you know what
Mm-hmm.
happens a lot of times when you get married to somebody, and correct me if I'm wrong, ladies, the guy gets very possessive.
Mm-hmm. Well, Ron, my ex-husband, he wasn't really possessive like that. He was just, excuse my expression, he was a cockhound. He was chasing every and anybody, and he just thought my purpose was to stay home, be a mom, have his food cooked, and other kinds of ways, So I just felt insignificant because he was in the military getting good money. And I will give him credit though. Every time he got his paycheck, he would give me his whole paycheck and tell me to give him an allowance. He was good that way. It's just that his cheating and his lies and all that stuff and abandonment, it's just like ugh. And when
Well,
you never been with anybody, yeah,
that had to be
you're living
really
through there.
hard. I mean, you live with this guy and you were very positive, and then, I can imagine what it's like being around someone who is in the occult, does magic,
Oh, oh,
lowers
woo.
themselves to that energy. And if you are that young and you don't realize, and I know if, 30 years ago, I don't know if I could have dealt with it. 40 years ago, 50 years ago, go back longer.
But Kathy, let me tell you this, darling. When he was into that occult, we used to always have confrontations because I didn't want that Luigi board in my house. And he had zodiac signs on the walls. And I used to have the same reoccurring nightmare for 30 days straight. And that nightmare was that I would run into a room, and when I opened the door, there was a coffin with somebody in it. And every door that I get to was another coffin, someone in it. And so I'm running down the hall, but I never could make it down the hall to see that last room, and I was afraid that had I made it, it might have been me. And I know I couldn't sleep. I was afraid to go to sleep, and I was praying. I said, Lord, you said you will not give me anything that I can't handle. I said, I can't handle this. And at that particular time, I didn't care for Jehovah's Witnesses coming to my house because to me, I would like to just give them a quarter until I'm going on their way with their little watchtower because it was very, tenacious, back, back, back. But this particular time when I was having this problem, when they came, I opened the door, I asked them in, and they told me one of my problems was that I had a doorway to Satan because you got to invite Satan in. And the doorway was the horoscopes, and the Ouija boards and the black candles and that other kind of stuff. And for a while, I started studying with them, and the nightmares went away, and I was grateful. And the only reason why I didn't become a Jehovah's Witness is because they was very pushy too. They wanted me to go to their Bible class on Tuesdays and Fridays in church. And I'm brand new to your religion because I'm a Pentecostal daughter and a Baptist daughter, because Grandpa was a minister as well. And that's the reason I backed away because they was too aggressive for someone that was new. But the nightmares went away. But I had some eerie things happening. When my husband went away, with the military, me and my daughter, who was a baby, she was in the crib, and I'm sitting laying on the bed, and I'm wide awake. And I tell you no lie, I looked at the door, and all of a sudden I see these two transparent entities coming towards me. One looked like my sister who had passed away, and the other one was not clear, but it was tall. And I was trying to scream, and I was screaming and screaming, but nothing came out. But you can see my neck was distended, and my chest felt like, oh my God, there was a weight laying on it. And I said, oh, please. And the closer they got, I got very petrified. And when that tall one started to reach for me, all of a sudden, Jesus in my prayer came out of my mouth and it went away. So thank God for Jesus. And I asked a lot of people about that, and they said that's because that was demonic, those sensations. And my husband said that while he was away in the field, he was checking up on me and our daughter, and he sent those apparitions to me. So I said, what? So it was crazy, crazy, crazy. Other than him cheating in that occult, that was more than enough reason to call this a relationship a quit. I mean, all
Oh,
over. I was,
yeah, you
yeah.
think. But it's not easy to break away from someone who does black magic because if they want to keep you, they put overlays and veils over you. And everybody else can see what's going on, and usually not you. And, and I don't care what anybody believes about Jesus. To me and to Terry, he's a very, very high energy. And what I will even tell people that are, you know, trying to communicate with the angels and their guides and teachers, that you command these beings to stand in the energy of the Christ light. And to me, that's a
Yes, yeah.
very high vibration. And if they are not a light, and if they're a demon, they will boogie out of there and they can't hang. And if they are somebody
Mm,
of light, you know, they'll be able to keep communicating with you.
right, right, right. Well, I
So,
thank God for Jesus every day.
what was it that finally tipped you into actually going into um, the shelter? Usually, when
Well,
you go to a shelter, you're running away.
yeah, well, this guy that I was with when I was living in California, the guy, he was just so crazy. He was a Marine as well, and he was an alcoholic. And when I would go to the grocery store, I wear eyeliner. He's thinking I'm trying to pick up somebody, and he was very possessive. And then my daughter, she got so afraid of the environment that she ran away. And I'm panicking, and I'm putting up flyers, going to the police department, going everywhere, door to door, looking for her, called the police, and we couldn't find her,
What
and I just
state?
felt like I just
What
wanted to,
what state was this in, Terry?
California. I was in California, and I
What
felt like
city?
I just did San Diego County, Oceanside,
Okay.
Escondido, yeah, and
Oh yeah.
I felt like my life was coming to an end. I couldn't find my child, and I just wanted to die, and I was praying, and the guy was just crazy, and he was starting to become abusive. Like he would walk and bump real hard into you or throw something at you that just barely misses your head, And I looked up at the sky and I was crying. I just wanted to kill myself, And I looked up at the sky, and this is the truth. I saw a cross. I'm not no sun rays coming off the moon. I saw an actual box cross, and I was like, wow. And I called my brother, who also lived in San Diego, and I said, look at the sky. And he said he could see it too. And I called the news media and everything. But what happened was this guy, he took the phone and broke it up like a mobile. So I couldn't call nobody. And he glued the door frame of the door. And so I couldn't open the house from the inside. So when he went to work, I couldn't open the door, and I'm saying, oh my God, how am I gonna get out? And below my window was bushes and everything. And I knew I had a small window. And I said, Lord, what can I do? Because now he'll kill me up in here. And so the I had an in I had the thought, so just jump anyway, take your chances. So I jumped, I fell, I kind of hurt myself, got thorns all stuck in me, and I ran to my car. But when I got to my car, every tire was flat, the doorknobs was gone, the steering wheel gone, the battery and the wires under the hood was taken. And I said, oh my God, I heard the motorcycle, right? Because he rode a motorcycle. I said, oh my God. So I went and hid. And as soon as got off his bike and went inside the house, I ran the other way. And I just kept running and kept running. And so that was like the beginning of things is like really, really getting out of control. And then I took my credit cards that I had and I stayed in one of those little hotel kitchenettes until my money ran out. And then one day while he was at work, I came back and had my car towed and I had it fixed. And then I was telling myself, I said, okay, when he go to work, I'm gonna come back and get my furniture and stuff. I said, because all the stuff is mine. And that's when I realized, I'm worried about possessions, not my life. So I came back, right? And then I tried to open the door and the lock was changed. And all of a sudden I heard him on the other side. So I ran back and got into my car and he ran back after me. And then I was pulling off and he jumped on the hood of the car, holding onto the car. And, I was driving. I wasn't going to stop. And he slid off and I just kept going. So it's crazy. And then I became to the point where after my money ran out, I slept in my car at the park, and then I slept sometime at the police department because I feel like nobody was gonna come there to start no trouble. This is where police at, and then it just got out of control, it got worse and eventually, I was homeless. I was at St. Vincent de Paul. I thank God for
Darling,
that
that
place.
that was pretty bad to begin with, and then it went downhill from
Yes.
there. I mean,
Yes.
that's wow. And how did your family feel about this? Is this something that you kept from everybody, or did you share it with your family?
No one knew. And the reason why I didn't tell anybody is because I've always had that upbeat, powerful uh, personality where I could handle anything. You know, I always went after jobs that very few women were in. I was just that gung ho kind of female that, you know, I can handle this, you know. So I was too ashamed to let people know back home that my life was falling apart because they had an image of me that I could do it all, and I wanted to maintain that image. I would go to a gas station, you know, and the ones that had the locked doors was only one person can go in, and I would wash up and clean myself up so that the friends that knew me in San Diego, they couldn't see me looking all ugly and tattered, you know, while my stuff was in the car. I was hiding it for a long time. I was so embarrassed when I had to get in those lines to get free food. And one time I went to this church, you know, to try to get some food and a bus token to try to get around to try to find work, you know, day labor work where you don't really need a home address. And when I went there, I told this lady, she said, "How can I help you?" And I just said, "Ma'am, I don't have nothing else. I don't have anything," you know, and she could tell that I wasn't trying to get over, because a lot of people go to different churches and places and they be begging for money and food. But I told her, I don't know what to do. I don't have anything. And she started crying. I started crying. And she gave me a couple of bus tokens, and she gave me a bag of food that I could carry, you know. But that's another reason that I know God is real, because I never had to sleep in a vestibule. I never had to sleep on the street. I even had my car at one time where, you know, someone let me sleep at their house, but I've learned a lot of things. I didn't think that I was arrogant and mean to people that were in a lower income level than myself, because I've always had good jobs, and I thought that I was doing good by giving them a couple of dollars to buy coffee here or buy that. But what I was doing, I was showing off that I was blessed to have some things. But you know, sometimes when you get in that kind of arrogant mode, God will replace that money in your pocket with lint, and He will show you that you ain't better than nobody else. And He did that to me. He humbled me, you know, and that's when I was been able to hear God, hear what He wanted for my life. But you know, I tell people, you know, if you don't go through nothing, then you're not going to learn much, because you're going to be stuck with what you only know at that point in your life. And sometimes, as hard as it is, when you go through stuff, when you come out of it, you're stronger and you're wiser and you have a testimony. And the purpose of that testimony is to share with someone else that's going through, because we all hurting and everybody have shed some tears in their life. And if you think you haven't, live long enough that you will.
When you went to the shelter, how long were you there? It was a woman's shelter, yes?
The first one was a women's shelter. I think it was called the House of Ruth. I think it was. I'm not really sure. I have short-term memory loss now because of the tractor trailer rollover, and I flipped over 4 times. They had to cut me out. And the other one was St. Vincent de Paul. So it was a while. I just don't know how long. I don't remember. But I
It,
knew that when I went to St. Vincent de Paul, which was a second shelter, I was there long enough to where one of my ex bosses, when I used to be a blackjack dealer, and we was friends, and I called him. He saw me, and he saw that I had lost weight. I just had that appearance that there was no life in my eyes, and that's what he said to me. He said, "Terry, it's time for you to go home." I didn't have enough money to get home, and he gave me a plane ticket. You know, so, and when he sent me home, I just stayed around my mother, because I knew with her I would have the strength to get my life together. Because when I was out in California, I started selling drugs, doing drugs, because when you start testing your product that you're going to sell, then you want to doing it as well. My life was just a mess. So, and when my ex-husband had cheated on me because I was a virgin and I didn't know what to do, that was one of the reasons why I started swinging in California, because I felt devastated that the only man I ever knew cheated on me because I was inexperienced. So I learned how to swing when I was in California, because I knew couldn't nobody go home and say the preacher daughter did this. So to me, I wanted to learn everything I could about sex because I promised myself I'm gonna never lose another man because I was inexperienced. And one thing led to another, and to another, and to another, and that's how your life can just roll out of control.
All I can say is, wow. Yeah, I thought you would reach a new level and you kept going higher and higher. And I'm just going, my God,
Mhm.
Terry, you've been there, did it all, hon.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
wow. Um, when you were in the shelter, and I'm gonna, if I can ask you some questions because I don't,
Yep.
um, what was it like to be in that shelter?
Okay, in the female shelter where it's all females, when you go in there, there's an intake, and they ask you personal stuff about yourself and why you're there. And every day, they give us a papers where you can go and try to find day work, like through Manpower. They try to get you back to normal. You can't tell nobody where you live at because that's a way of staying protected and safe from the person who abused you. And then if for the ones who didn't have no appointment to go anywhere, they just stayed around there pretty much and had counseling, and they cleaned up and they cooked, and they was being taught things inside of the facilities, And a lot of that was a whole lot of counseling to help us get our self-esteem back, and do little workshops and learn how to do things to calm you. Like some classes was for like learning how to crochet, and they have all these listing of things where you can go and they give you vouchers to get clothes at the thrift stores so that if you had a job interview to go to, then you would have the appropriate clothes to wear. You could give their address as your location for a home because you didn't have none. And once you got on your feet, they support you to get on your feet. And they were good, but then it gets overcrowded so fast. And when I was there for a long time, and I wasn't finding a job right away. I had that part-time job as a blackjack dealer, but nothing that I could, get an apartment with because in California everything is extremely high. It's hard to live, without a roommate, so let alone being somebody going from homeless to try to sustain an apartment. And so that was the reason they suggested I go somewhere else because they needed more space for people that were in worse scenarios mentally, physically. So one of
And
my
and
friends in
and
California,
we're talking dorm living. We're not talking private rooms, right?
right, right. This they had like military cots out, and in the morning you got to leave out in the morning after you make up your bed, take your shower, whatever, and you got to be back in before a certain time because after a certain time, if you're not in, the doors are locked and you're stuck out there.
And a lot of times, if I'm correct, you get stuck out there, they don't let you back in. You're
That's
replaced.
that's true. That's true. If you don't come back on time, you lose your cot. And they got like a wall with cubby holes. That's your little personal stuff you put in there. And you gotta sometime, put your stuff underneath your cot and or sleep on top of it like it's a pillow because people steal from each other. If you got something more than someone else got, even if you got costume jewelry on, if they think you got more than they got, people will rip you off. There's really nothing you can do.
I actually did a little stint as a homeless. I had to make myself homeless. I was in downtown LA. And yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
is easy to, it's part of it. And,
Mm-hmm.
being in trauma and shock after you've gone through this very, very nasty relationship and then being, not have a home, it's very easy to lose it.
Yeah.
And
Yes, it
if you
is.
don't think it is people, then I challenge you, put yourself out on the street. Take away all your resources. And if you really want to go through it in one of the downtown major cities. Make yourself homeless and see what
Mm-hmm.
it's like. Do it for one friggin' night. And if you can last that night, you're going to even just have a tiny glimpse of what someone
Mm-hmm.
who is homeless will go through. And I'm telling you, if you can maintain your balance and not lose it within 3 days, you're doing really good.
Yes, because people will steal the shoes off of your feet if you go to sleep. And then, back in that time when I was there, this guy called a Night Stalker, he was killing a lot of females. So it's the fear factor as well being out there because it's creepy at night when you don't have no money, you don't have no vehicle, and you got the elements in the street, the drug walkers, and the homeless people, the streetwalkers, everybody, the different elements come out, and it's creepy and it's scary because people come by and they look at you, or different nationalities speaking a language you don't understand, and men look at you all crazy like I'm gonna take you and I'm gonna rape you, and you have nobody to help you, and it's scary, So it's not a pretty picture, but I thought I was being wise. That's why I went. Before I got into that shelter, I went to the police department when I still had my car before I lost that, because I felt like, think. Who's going to come to a police department and start something? So at least I know I feel safe, and caught bronchitis, got real sick, because I was out in the elements. Because even though California's a nice place, at night, near the water, it gets cold.
It does. And you're still out in the elements. You don't have access to really medical care.
Right.
It's,
Exactly.
and again, you are, and again, people, if you don't know what it's like to be on the street, it's friggin' rough. You lose it,
Yes.
you're under shock and trauma every day. Have something stolen from you, and then again, have something else stolen from you constantly,
Hmm.
and that's living on the street.
Yeah.
And we haven't
And
even,
that's why.
you talk about the drug dealers.
Hmm. Yep.
S- s-
And they don't have no respect for people because a lot of time when people got drugs and got money and had lifestyle, they feel like anybody's supposed to do whatever they tell you to do. And this one girl that I knew, I don't know where she at. I don't even know if she's still living. She was messing around with this guy, and she got some drugs on credit, and she didn't pay the guy. And when the guy found her, he took and stripped her naked and tied her to a pole out in the middle of the street. But before he did that, he made her suck the penis of a dog, to humiliate her. I said, "Oh my God," So I got afraid. I didn't want to hang around with her because she was drawing the wrong element. Even though when I would get high and stuff, I had morals. I wasn't scandalous. I wasn't ruthless, and I definitely didn't get nothing on credit. I didn't pay back. I always had integrity, even though I was doing wrong. I always had integrity. But this female, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. So I don't know where she at today in her life.
it's not your karma. Who knows, and maybe, who knows, but we're
Hmm.
going to be going on break in about 3 minutes. Um, I don't think, I know for a fact people are not used to listening to people or talking about what it's like to be on the street, and
Hmm.
again, I have to honor you. And I know what it's like because I don't know if you remember when they put together Tent City in downtown LA in 1988.
Yes, yes,
I
yes, I do.
that's where I had to go. And I didn't
Hmm.
know I was going through initiation. And I would be down there going, what the world am I doing here? And I would work with the kids, and I would get
Hmm.
them just all kinds of stuff. But my God, what you see down there. I saw people from um, the movies come in wanting to talk to you to get what your
Hmm.
life is like so they can make money by writing a movie script. Yet they're too friggin'
Right.
cheap to give you a dime for that knowledge. And they actually get
Hmm.
offended when you ask for
Yeah.
money.
And they make you
They,
sign a release, but you can't get nothing.
oh, oh no, they would just like, oh my God, she's asking for money for information. Oh my God,
Hmm.
how dare she? And it's like,
Hmm.
excuse me, bitch, you're going to make
Yeah, don't you
what?
see?
Hundreds of thousands of dollars off of this?
Exactly.
And, you know, what mentality though?
The goal, yeah, the goal, exactly. The
The
goal, man.
predators come out. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they come out, they
You do.
crawl out of everywhere when you're out on the street. And, as much as I hated it, of course you hate it. Who wants to, like that? What a life lesson when you pull yourself out.
Amen. Amen. You said it. I've learned a whole lot. And one thing I've learned, the most thing I've learned is that I had to do better in the way I treated other people. Because before it was me being a show off and everything. But I learned something as being homeless. Like I learned that, if you got a light bulb and you just spray a little bit of cologne on it, it fragrances the whole room by the heat. Or if you take a citrus fruit and dry it out and cut it up and burn it. It creates incense. So I learned some skills that I never would have known because I didn't want to get that down and personal with someone that was homeless or someone that was on the street because I always thought I was better than that. But God showed me you ain't no better than nobody, and I'm gonna prove it to you. So He got my attention.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I call that a big attention getter. And we're gonna come back and talk more about your book and how you actually pulled yourself up and turned your life around. And
Okay.
how you've become, you have your own radio show. You've written so many books,
Mm-hmm.
and you're very accomplished.
Well,
Oh, I love
thank
radio.
you.
Oh, and when we do
Yes.
go on break, I have to remind you to mute your mic. Sorry.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but really, and I'm not just saying that. I looked at everything you've done, and you're very accomplished. Oh, there we are on break. So don't go away, everybody. We'll be back with Terry and talk about how she overcame depression and really came back from the rock bottom pits. Welcome back, everybody. This is Cathy Bilsky, the Quantum Leap Let Light Unite show on Revolution Radio at Freedom's Lips. And this is August 9th, 2016, Tuesday night. And Revolution Radio is listener sponsored, and we really do depend on. Boy, I'm hearing an echo. There we go. And it really does depend on, the Revolution Radio depends on donations to keep our station going. So please, go to Revolution Radio at Freedom's Lips and, go press their donation button and give. Because if it's not for your generosity, we would not be on air. And they also have some groovy prizes and other things you can buy. So you can have really a mutually beneficial relationship if you feel the need that you need to have something tangible in return. There you go.
And
Oh,
right now we're running a special for I can't remember if it's a 50 or $60 donation. You will get a package of my mother in law's to die for fudge.
wow.
And folks can also subscribe to the archives for $4.99 a month. So, guys, if you subscribe to the archives, you can go in and listen to Kathy's shows whenever you want.
Does it get any better? I'm telling you.
And if they buy a CD of your shows for the whole year, you will be helping Kathy because she gets half of the net.
Wow. Life is good.
After the shipping costs, you get half of the net. So come on, folks. She does a great show.
Well, thank you, Liz. You're gonna have to step in every time I come on and do that. I love it.
Okay, well
I'll
now
just go. And here's Liz.
and now I'm going to mute and let you advertise your stuff.
All right. I like her. So, if you want to get more information on me, of course, you can go to my website at www.angelliteom.com, ANGELITEOM.com, where I've got these really cool Angelite healing tools and a couple of my books there you can get. And the curse removal, if you look under free healing, you can download it for free. Any of my prayers, just even the little short prayer I did tonight, you can get on Facebook, on my Facebook page under Cathy Bilsky. And I also have one under Catherine Bilsky. And of course, I have a store, Cathy's Angelite Crystals, Miracles, and Joy in Honoka'a, Hawaii. That's the big island. And God, you need to come out right now, guys. We're having the major lava flow. And, I mean, that's a once in a lifetime. Where can you see the lava and swim with the dolphins and the manta rays? And no, I don't swim with sharks. I'm good. I'm from Michigan where, fish don't eat you. And I know my dad teased me about the muskies coming after me, but one never did, nor bite me. But anyway, swim with the dolphins. You'll be safe from sharks. But it's a beautiful place, wonderful people, beautiful food. And I've got my store there that you can come in and get free healings. And I do pain and stress release. You lay down on the Angelite table. I have the largest crystal in Hawaii. It's 1,000-pound smoky quartz celestial earth keeper that you can come hug and touch. And then we also have the Enlightenment Movement website, Enlightenment Movement 2016.shutterfly.com. Join. This is a time to quantum leap the world into enlightenment. The webpage is up. And again, I do daily energy work and it goes up on there and you can follow it and do it and help us manifest world enlightenment 2016. If it's not us, guys, who in the world do you think's going to do it? Huh? Really? You're going to wait for your kids to grow up and do this? I'd like to see this now, not when I get really old and can't have too much fun. We can do this now. Why are we, stretching this out? So again, we've got a giant quantum leap going on for September 22nd, and you're all invited to participate. The more the merrier, right? So let's bring Terry back on. Terry, unmute your mic, please.
Hello, Cathy.
Welcome back. Terry, this is Authoress Terry E. Lyle, and we're talking about her incredible autobiography called Broken. Now, Terry, you, I have to say, landed rock bottom.
Yes.
You can say you've been there, done it. I have to really honor you again with your comeback. And when you were in the shelter, and first, before I say this, I just want to tell people, we've talked about living on the street and how hard it is. And correct me if I'm wrong, one of the hardest things is to be there and not become it, and to keep your morals. And, that you're not going to become, sell your body for money. You're not going to, any of that. You may do the drugs and you may be on the streets, but you can have some morals there.
Right, exactly. And that's how I carried it because I was raised morally correct before I came to California. So when I became homeless, I had integrity. If I had something, drugs or whatever, I would share it. Some people that do drugs, if you're sharing your drug with them, a lot of times they try to act like they smoked it up and they hide it to hoard it later. That's scandalous. I've never done that. And when someone offered me something, what you see, I did in front of you. And I always didn't want to be hanging around guys because you're not going to get my vagina just because I'm in an economic situation where I don't want to be in, because this is mine. You can't take this from me. My integrity is free. And I've seen a lot of people out there, they will sleep around hoping that they will get a chance to be in somebody's home for a couple of days in a real bed. No, 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 no. I believe that God got something better for me. So I'm grateful. After I lost my car, I found a shelter because I don't think I could survive finding a spot behind a building, but if I had to, I would have done that, because it's amazing what you would do to adjust to your situation. But my main thing was trying to stay safe. So I didn't want to, affiliate with a lot of guys. I don't want nobody to know that I was homeless, because if the people think you're homeless, they treat you like you ain't worth nothing and try to take advantage of you. And I ain't trying to get raped, none of that stuff.
And then, I know during that time in California, especially when I was working with the homeless, you say the word homeless, and it's like this film goes over everybody's eyes, and you now become invisible, and they no longer see you at all.
Not with respect anyway. They notice you, but they don't respect you. They think you're a piece of property, someone they can abuse, someone they can take advantage of. And so what you say don't mean nothing. They treat you like you're a whore. And see, that's one thing no one ever knew except the people in the shelter that I was homeless, because when I had to be out during the daytime, like I said, I always make sure that I try to press my clothes out, because they give you stuff like that, iron board stuff where you can go press out your clothes. I always looked like I was coming out of my house. You would never know. I always made sure my hygiene was clean, no dirt underneath my fingernails, because I knew that I wanted to present myself in a positive way to bring back positive stuff to me. Because when you're out there and you're dirty looking and wrinkled and your hair all a mess, when that's something that you could change, people disrespect you. They look past you. They don't see you as a person of any value. And so people need to understand their value. It's not how much money you got in your pocket, it's how you value yourself. And if you value yourself, you would do your best to present yourself like you're worth something.
Yeah, this is a time that you really didn't share with anybody because you were ashamed.
Yes.
What did it take for you to write this book? What was the final spark? And and I'm going to have to say this before I let you answer. I feel you've gone through a very heavy initiation. And I can say that because I can call myself a shaman. I do a lot of energy work, shamanic work, healing body, mind, and soul. And this is what you're doing. So you've gone through all these life experiences, and now spirit finally made you sit down, and it's like writing what I consider a college dissertation. You have to write about what you know, even if it's about your life experiences, and
Right.
share your growth. It's exposing your soul basically.
Exactly.
But
But Cathy,
when you're
I'm
a
sorry, go ahead.
teacher the challenges are harder, don't you think?
Yes. And that's what I was all my life, a teacher, more or less. I should teach special aid. I used to teach future paramedics when I used to be a paramedic. I'm a Bible school teacher. I used to teach in a way when I was a correctional officer. I've always had a position of training someone or teaching someone. But the catalyst for me is, I had ghost wrote 2 books, but the reason why this is my 10th book published in my name, the reason why I wrote this book is because I felt like God was trying to tell me that it's perfect alignment, because I wrote a lot of poetry books, I wrote a couple of novels, but I'm born in the 10th month on a 10th day. This is my 10th book, and I'm trying to get a movie deal. And I went through all websites I could find to find movie and film production companies, and I was filling them all out, sending a book with a cover letter. And when I went to the post office, I hadn't realized, I had a lot of packages. It was 10. And then one day I sold 10 books. So to me, that number 10 is very significant. And I'm thinking that I got the sensation in me that this is the time, because my stars are in alignment to share my story. Because I could have wrote my biography a long time ago, but I don't know if I was afraid or I wasn't ready yet to be strong enough to put myself out there for people to point fingers at me. But now I'm strong enough. You can't hurt me. You point your finger at me, there's 3 point back at you. But before, I don't think it was time. And the world that we live in, if you look at the news, everything is going chaotic. People are killing each other, and they don't understand we are the human race. We need to come together and act like we got some sense. And I just think because of the unrest in the world, not just the United States, in the world, I think God is trying to tell me, get this book out right now, because other people need to understand that they're not alone, and they need to understand that he's coming soon. So get right. There's an answer, because it's not going to stay this way. He's coming soon. We don't know the hour or the time when he's coming, but it's a signal to me in my mind and in my spirit that get this book out now so I can help bring some souls to Christ before it's too late.
Well, how did you come up with the name of the book, Broken?
Okay, when I first was thinking about the name, I was first thinking about the word flawed, like I'm flawed. And I was talking it over with my mom, and she said, I don't like that name. I don't like that because you're not flawed. You're beautiful. You're my daughter. I said, yeah, but I have a lot of things. She said, well, why not broken? And she gave me a name. And when she said it, I said, yeah, I like that title, because when you write a book, you want to give it a title that will get somebody's, interest and want to flip the page and see what's it about. And it felt like she's right, because I don't care where I started and where I ended up at along the way. I got broken, you know, my spirit was broken, and subsequently I was doing things that were not my norm. My life was off balance. I didn't have the balance, and I'm a Libra, and we're supposed to have balance, and everything was just like crazy. But my mama, she gave me that name Broken, because I was thinking about flawed. I couldn't remember the other name I was thinking about, and she hated that name, but when she said Broken, right away I knew that's the name.
I like your mom. She's got good taste.
Yes, she do. Bless her heart.
Now, when after you got your life together, you named off all these jobs, okay, that you did. You're a
Hmm.
paramedic. You worked in the criminal system. Did you do this
Yeah.
before you went into the shelter or after?
Before I went into the shelter, and that's the reason why I couldn't tell nobody when I came to California how bad my life was, because when I left there, I was a correctional officer. I used to be a counselor for the Department of Justice. I used to be a paramedic. I've always had great jobs. So I was known for the person that had a nice house, nice ride, had money. I was built really nice. I was very small, because after the injury to my body, after I had that rollover in that tractor trailer, then the doctors giving me a whole lot of steroids, a whole lot of surgeries and inactivity. And then I started putting on the pounds that I couldn't get rid of because of all my medical issues. So it is what it is.
Well, we all have earth challenges, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't call myself plus size. I call myself thick and juicy.
Now, this is how she's like on her radio show, okay? She's fun. Well, what do you hope that your readers will get out of your book?
What I hope is that they see the realness, the transparency, that they can open up and see that they have had challenges in their life, and they can forgive themselves, forgive the people who have hurt them, so they can move on. And once they start to heal and stop feeling like they're not good enough because they have been a part of this or they done that, they can start holding their head up, and being okay. Because a lot of times people don't realize that, a lot of times we might dress the outside up, but inside we're broken because we're too afraid to be honest about the things that make us feel stupid or the things that make us embarrassed. And so I felt like, okay, I'm gonna take one for the team. If I put it out there in transparency, then you will feel like, okay, she get it, she understand, and I'm not trying to dress it up. I'm real. I'm explicit about everything I say, because I want you to see the passion and understand that this is real talk. I'm not trying to add adjectives to make it sound good. No, I'm calling a spade, and what I did that was inappropriate, I put that out there too, from the sex scenes to the drugs, to the abuse, to the homelessness, everything is with clarity and realness. So when you read it, you say, wow, ah, Man, I'm right there.
Well, I'm right there while you're talking it, girl.
Thank you.
Now, your mother, she sounds wonderful, and you were very afraid to tell her anything that you were going through. And finally, obviously, it sounded like you really had nowhere else to go. And she took you back in and was very supportive.
Yeah, well, she didn't know until recently what I went through. I sent her a copy of the book, and she called me up, and she was upset because she said, "Why you never told me that?" And I told her I didn't want her to feel like I was a failure, and it was like a reflection on her because and me and my mom, we was close. We're like two peas in a pod, and she's my idol. My mom is a warrior. This woman's in her 80s and never had difficulties. She had one surgery on her knee in 2013, and she take two pills a day, one for blood pressure and one for cholesterol, and something that and I'm taking like 18 pills a day and sometimes more because I got to pop pain pills. I take morphine and oxycontin together because every day my life is in pain, and I take them so that I can straighten up my back and so I can put on the image that all is well. Anybody else, they would take what I'm taking, they'd be loopy, but my pain is so intense that it just helps me to be normal with limitations.
Wow. Wow. So when you had when you felt like you had to go to your mother's house, and to me, that had to be even difficult. What did you tell her? Why, that you
Well,
had to move back in with her?
Well, what I told her was that, I just lied. I just said I was tired of being in California. I missed my family. And so since I had lived out there, they knew that I didn't have an apartment. And so she just brought the story that I missed my family, and sometimes I just knew that it was time to be around my mother because she made me feel grounded. She made me feel strong enough so I wouldn't have to revert back into getting into drugs and other things because she was my rock. When my ex-employer Dennis Smith, and God knows I love this person to death. And if he could ever find me, I would like to shake his hand and thank him because he gave me that plane ticket and sent me home because he knew something was not right. And when you're going through depression, a couple of times I thought about just killing myself so nobody would know how far I had fallen because I was just hurting and I was in pain. But I knew because I was raised in the church that if I did that, I would be doomed to go to hell because anybody who commit murder, they can't make it into heaven. So that held me back. But I'm telling you, it was a fight not to just check it on in. And one time when I would be home, my mom, she had a habit of every night she would get on her knees. And one day I was coming up the steps and she was praying, and then I stepped back so she couldn't see me. And to see her struggling to get up after she prayed for me, oh my God, it just tore my heart up because here this old woman can barely get up off her knees, but she down there and she's praying for me and my brothers and my sisters and my family. And a lot of times when people are old or in pain, they just hold their head down. But she feel like when she get down on her knees, that she's closer to God, and that just did something to my spirit to know that as much as I was a failure to myself, she loved me enough that through pain and everything, she didn't care. She got on her knees and to visualize seeing this old woman struggling to get up. And every day she do that, it's like it was tearing my heart out.
But you know what? The power of prayer is incredible.
Yes,
And,
yes, prayer changes.
God heard her prayers.
Yes.
She rocks,
Yeah, that's a heart.
and you're still best friends, which is amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice when I think the children appreciate the parents,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah, well, I
and
appreciate
and I'm sure your daughter
Kathy.
does that with you.
Well, my daughter, she always told me she loves me, but because she's married and got a family, I don't see her as much as I would like. and it doesn't feel like she's as close with me as I am with my mother. So I don't know how this generation is. She'll come through sometimes, but a lot of times I feel alone because I don't see her as much as I want. And I gotta respect the fact she got a husband and she got kids, and she's like maybe 40 minutes away from me. So she calls me, "How you doing, Ma?" And sometimes I say, "I don't feel well." She said, "Well, okay, well, call me later." But in the same respect, if it was my mother, first time she said she don't feel good, I'm busting my behind over there to get there. I want to be there, and she don't do me that way. So I have
It
mixed
is.
emotions about that.
It's the generation, honey.
Yeah.
One day we can
Yeah.
sit down and talk and trade kids stories, but it is, it's a different generation, and the ones that are younger are even way different. I mean, wow. I mean,
Mm,
I had a woman come in and tell me that her 3-year-old now, thinks it's very strange to turn a page of a book because you've
what?
got the computer and they've got these computer things for
Mhm.
kids, and all they do is flick their finger and it turns the page. It's like the Kindle. You read a book, you just flip the
No.
page. So I mean,
Hmm.
yeah. So I think it's up to us, younger, older generation, to remind people what it was like and what it is like, especially about the past. I don't know about
Yes.
you, but I grew up with Mickey Mouse in black and white.
I did too. And I grew up knowing that when I was going to school in the morning, my mom had a hot meal. She had a bag lunch, fruit, sandwich, chips, and some change for milk or juice. But now my daughter, she said, "Go out of school, get on out of here." They walk out there, get on the bus. And I'm saying, where's that, making sure for yourself? My mother would make sure we looked at the same way. My daughter would be going from her room. Go on, get ready. You got 15 minutes. But, and she think I'm a little pushy and overprotective, but that's different how she do it and how I would do it, because I feel like if I have a child, it's my responsibility to put myself out for that child before myself. That's why I'm always in her business, because she's my only child. I'm not trying to be in her business, but I'm keep trying to give her that kind of upbringing that I had. And she don't think that things are the same, but she don't realize all this stuff, me saying stuff to her, do this and do that, do that. As she get older, she'll see that she's more like me than she think. But I'm just trying to prepare her to make her life easy. And what you do and what you give a child, if you put that input out there, the child will be better. But if you're lazy and you put them into all these video games, that's more important than focusing on what they're doing. You can't focus on a child a couple of days a week, and the other time they doing what they want to do. When my grandkids come to my house 24/7, I got my eyes on them. They think it's grandma boot camp. Don't plop down on the furniture. Don't be running through my house. Don't be putting your hands on the wall. The stuff that I heard growing up.
But this is what we had when we grew up. Absolutely. God.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we could have been sisters. Sorry, Mom, but it's true.
That's all right. We could be sisters from a different
And,
mother.
and,
That's
and,
all
and
right.
if you want to go back in time, all right, we can get nostalgia. Do you remember the old ringer washers?
Girlfriend, let me tell you, I had one, got my arm stuck in it. It's like two rolling pins that the
Yeah.
crank in a round tub. And when you put your clothes that's wet in there, comes to the other side, and you pull it out and hang it up on the clothesline. Girl, I try to put my finger in there a little bit, see what it's gonna do. My finger got caught. I was screaming like a ah! Help me! And they had to hurry up and unplug it because my hand was going through there, man, being stupid.
Yeah, you know what it's like to have
Uh,
one. Okay, well,
and
I
we.
grew up with one too, right? All right, my mom passed
Mhm.
away. My dad let my sister go out and buy all new brand appliances. She got a brand new
Yeah.
brand new refrigerator, stove. We got a brand new cool dryer. But she bought a brand
Hmm.
new friggin' brand new wringer washer. Oh yeah. You just walked out and you go, "Are you kidding me? Really? You couldn't get
Uh-huh.
something that was like automatic?" Oh my God.
Yes.
So talk about
Remember
us
the
growing
wash
up.
shorts?
Huh?
Even the washboard. Sometimes, like when you want to do your delicate underwear in the tub, or you running out of detergent or whatever, and so you gotta put the clothes in the tub and use a washboard to wash them and everything, and then you gotta rinse them and scrub them with the washboard and wring it out, and your back be all breaking trying to wash clothes because it is what it is. Sometimes you just don't have the money to go somewhere. When you don't have a washing machine in your home to pay for laundry, so there goes the clothes in the tub. You let them soak for a while. Then you get that washboard out and you're scrubbing that stuff, man. Back be hurting and everything. Been there and done that.
That's true. I am so lucky. All I had to do was go through the wringer washer. Once again, you topped me. God. It's like, scrubber? No friggin' way. You can catch me doing that. It's like, ooh, please don't test me, God, right?
Yeah. And after I saved my money up, this is when I moved out on my own, married and with my daughter, and after all that, then I was so glad when they got those stackables out, a wash and dryer stack on top of each other, perfect size, don't take up too much space, loved it. That was a thing. If you had a wash and dryer in your home when most of your friends had to go to laundromats, man, it's like a sign of prestige. You mean tell me you got a wash and dryer in your own apartment? That was cool, man.
It's like, you can't come over.
Yeah, exactly.
I let my friends use mine, but it's old, now I'm old enough that as long as it's functional, I'm happy.
Right,
I don't need
exactly. That's
anything super brand new. As long as it works and it's functional, I'm happy.
amen. Because as you get older, you learn the simplicity of things. You appreciate what you got because you reflect on when you didn't have it, and that's why I'm so anal about being neat and keeping my stuff together because I know what it was like to not to have it, and I'm grateful that God has given me a place over my head. And God has blessed me in so many ways. I got a home built from the ground up. I got land. I got 3,000 square feet, of house, a big house, three big spacious uh, bedrooms, a walk-in tub, an indoor heated pool. God has blessed me with this
I'm
stuff, and these
coming
things
over
are
to your house. Damn.
this is to make me comfortable because of all the injuries to my body. So I'm telling
Uh-huh.
people, there's because I went for and to be honest, my home is paid in full. I don't owe nothing. I don't even have a job. I hustle my books and my perfume line that I created, and that's how good God is because He's making my bills get met. I don't have no sugar daddy. Just me and God. No, God and me, and He's making it happen day by day. Praise God and thank you, Jesus.
I do. I feel the same way. It's day by day, but I've been in Hawaii 11 years and people go, "How have you been here for 11 years?" Oh, God's grace program. But if he wants me to stay with these big earth keeper crystals, he's got to provide and bring me business, and he does. Of course, I've got some incredible products that I sell, like the Angel Light tools, which
Right.
nobody else makes on earth, by the way, except me. And, ex-husbands don't count. He's not really doing anything with it. So, but it's true. Can I tell you
Uh-huh.
something else since we're on ex-husbands? He's a tool and die maker, right? Okay. So I can,
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm stuck with him forever for the rest of, he is part of my story. So people, I go, yeah, he's a tool
Uh-huh.
and die maker.
Yeah, people might think you saying the word tool like he's a piece of work, you
Well,
know.
yeah. Is that what the inflection meant? Well, if his shoes fit like that, then what can I say?
Uh-huh.
But yes, he is a tool and die
Uh-huh.
maker, and he doesn't listen to my radio shows, thank God. But we're not talking
Goodness,
anymore, so
yeah.
it doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah. My
So
Lord.
so so how can people get your book, Terry?
Oh, they can get their book by going to my website, www TerryLyle.com, or they can go to Amazon or Kindle or Create Space. But if you go to my website, your book is guaranteed delivery to you in 2 days. I send everything out directly, priority mail. I don't know the shipping time or the cost via Amazon, but if you go to my website, I can autograph it for you. You got it. You can send me a little message note to tell me what you would like me to do, who to sign it for, because one guy, well, two guys actually, they sent me a request. They said that when I get the book, before I send it to them, they want me to spray my scent on it. They want me to sign the book, and they want me to kiss it with my voluptuous lips.
I'm sorry,
So I said,
darling.
okay.
That sounds dirty.
Yeah, but I did it, But I did it. I autographed it. I
Yeah,
sprayed my cologne on it, and I kissed it. Okay.
what you need to do is get a stamp in the shape of your lips. How would they know,
Uh-huh.
right? Little piece of
Yes.
lipstick and a stamp, and there you go.
Uh-huh. Good idea. Good idea.
You're welcome. I'm just
Yes.
loaded with them tonight. I think that's really great, though. And
Yeah.
you've written other books. You've written poetry.
Yes, yes. I've written poetry. I mean, I love poetry because poetry is something that's easy and you can kick out real fast. But all of my stuff, whether it's poetry or short stories or my novels, one main theme I have is all real talk. It's all down to earth. It's all, it's not sugar coated and it's not a whole lot of unnecessary stuff. Now, this one poem I wrote was for this young lady that I was thinking about. She had moved away from Baltimore and she was staying with her mother, and her mother had a lot of people coming in and out the house. And I thought that, something was going to happen to her because she was a young girl, preteen. And I wrote a poem called Come Here, Little Girl for her out of one of my books. And if I can remember it, I'm going to tell you what it says because I don't see the book handy, but the way it goes is, come here, little girl, and sit on my lap. Let me molest you while your parents nap. This will be a secret that you can't tell because I'm a sick predator from the depths of hell. One day, when you're fully grown, you'll be mentally messed up because you were molested at home. But I'll return on another day. I'll smile at your parents and you'll be my prey, even though I'm your uncle who won't leave you alone. So, that's as far as I can remember about that particular poem. But yeah, I like to write stuff that people can relate to. And I
Wait a
want
minute. Wait. Who did you write this for?
I wrote this because I saw this little girl that was living in Georgia and she was getting sent back home in Maryland. And while I was driving at the stoplight, I was finding old envelopes, bills, or whatever, and I kept writing the stuff down as I was at the stoplight. I said, "Oh my God!" Something came over me to write that, and I was trying to write a little bit at every light, and I wrote it like that. Sometimes, my spirit person will tell me to do something. And when something is pushing me with so much urgency, it must need to be written. And I wrote it, and I didn't know so many people was dealing with that problem of molestation from family members. And that's one thing I like to say to people. A lot of time people think that monster is someone that their family don't know. And that monster sometimes could be the dad, the brother, the nephew, the cousin, the uncle, the mother, the aunt. It could be right in their house. And a lot of times they tell these people that don't say nothing or I'll kill your family, or don't say nothing because I'll tell them that you like it, or don't say nothing, and intimidate these young people. If you are a victim of anything, if you go to your family members and they don't help you, because some people say, don't say that and put that stigma on our family, go to someone else. Tell a principal, tell a teacher, because it's not right when somebody take your body and those people, they're older than you, they're responsible. It's not you, darling. So don't hold on to that guilt. It's not, you didn't do anything wrong. You're the victim.
Good advice. Good advice. Now, do you find yourself going out and giving talks and speaking engagements now?
Yeah, yes, I do. I just came back from one the June 18th in Dallas, Texas, and obviously I think I did a good job because when I was telling my story and promoting Broken, women was passing around boxes of Kleenex, crying, and they kept coming to me after it was over saying they appreciate my realness. That was the main word they were using, my realness, my realness. And then one lady said, I appreciate your transparency because a lot of people can't relate to that messy part of their life. I said, well, I'm glad. I hope it helped, and that's all it is that I want to do. I just want to let people know that, we all have a past, and I don't care how somebody look. If you look a little closer, they have done something or they got something they're ashamed of. So don't let anybody tell you that it's you a mess by yourself. No, you ain't. We're all a mess, and we're working daily trying to be better than what we used to be.
Yeah, it's like I say, cast ye the first stone.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, and I always say this is also the planet of addictions. Welcome to Earth. You've either been there, you're going to be there, you are there, or you're in denial. And if people don't think they have an addiction, do they eat food? What happens
That's
when you
right.
don't get your food? You go into cramps, don't you? You go into
That's right.
withdrawals, don't you?
Yes.
So food is the biggest addiction you will ever have. Anyway, so pick your addictions wisely.
Exactly.
So did you have to go to any recovery to get over
No,
any of the
no.
drugs you did or anything like that?
No, no, I didn't. What happened was one day I went to this church. I was visiting this church, and the minister was talking about ostrich alert. And the theme of his sermon was saying that ostriches, they'll have their eggs and they won't stay there protect them. They be running around circle doing the same thing, and sometimes their eggs and their babies get taken. And so he was telling us stop doing the same thing over and over again. And at this particular church, he had people lined up against the wall that he called salvation counselors. And when he had to call for people to come up if they wanted to be baptized, the salvation counselors would escort you to the front. Now, this particular time, I was on crutches, and something like snatched me from my back of my neck and made me stand up. And so I was trying to sit back down. And I said, no, 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 no. The lady came to me, she said, come on. I said, no, 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 no. That was a mistake. So anyway, she took me up to the altar. And I gave my life to Christ. I got baptized, and immediately, I'm telling the honest to God's truth, immediately I felt some kind of empowerment. I went home, got rid of the ashtrays. Can nobody come over my house and smoke cigarettes? Can nobody bring it to my house? Can nobody be doing drugs around me? And like that, just like that, it was gone because I've been praying for a while. Lord, take this from me, And I'm telling you, not one day did I have to do any rehab. I went to God and God fixed it. And you know what's surprising about that? In the rehabs, they start with God telling people how to look up to God to help change what they're going through. So I just cut out all of that. I went straight to God, and God fixed it. He can do it. Just ask him.
Oh, I agree with you. You bypass the middleman, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I don't like to throw out passages of the Bible because I really don't know many, but the one I really also really love is when Jesus said, you don't have to pray to me, go directly to my Father. And he was talking about God. And when I heard that and read that, I went, oh, how brilliant. Why can't we go direct? It's like, becoming a Catholic and saying you can't go to directly to God and speak. You've got to go through the priest or the Pope. It's like, excuse me, I don't think so.
Well, Kathy, I don't know where you got that at the Bible, but I'm just going to say what I know. Jesus Christ, he is the mediator between God and man. And the Bible says no one will be able to see my Father except me through me. So Jesus is the bridge. There's no way none of us can go and see Jehovah God because the Bible states that you can't go to before him except by me. I will go on your behalf. So I don't know where you saw that at, and I don't know what Bible you use because now of all these different translations and stuff, that's why Jesus came for the sinners. He came for everybody. And it's because of him being a perfect being and he died on the cross for our sins. We go through him. And that's why I tell people, even when they're saying that they're grace or they're praying, if they don't close that prayer in Jesus' name, it's just like talk going up in the air. It don't mean anything. You got to go through Jesus to get to God. God is nothing but a title. Jehovah is his name. Jesus is his son. And the Holy Spirit is the Holy Spirit.
Well, what do you plan on doing next? You gonna write
Okay,
another
well,
book?
I'm sure I'm going to write another book, but right now what I'm focusing on is getting me a husband, because I feel like, if all the stuff that's going on with me physically, I'm still getting around pretty good now. I'm not using a cane. I guess I'm got to fall in love and put a ring on it.
Well, there we go, you guys. She's looking. This is better than
Yes.
Match.com, right?
Okay.
And if you want, do you have an application? Because you can call, you can contact Terry direct, right? And you can even
That's
get
right.
you on Facebook,
If-
right?
Let's go to Facebook, go to Twitter, go to LinkedIn, or just call us sister at 443-956-8753. But I know this guy named Michael. I'm not going to say his last name. I'm very impressed with him because he got the same morals that I had coming up. So I told him, don't wait too long. I ain't got that much time to be wasting. I got to get me a husband quick because, I'm backing up.
Well, there's nothing like being direct in our age, right?
I know, right?
I don't,
Yes.
I've had to resort to watching Netflix, which I love. They've got these really cool series. One is them with Jane
Mhm.
Fonda and Lily Tomlin called Gracie and Frankie, Grace and Frankie. And, they're in their 70s and they are hilarious and
I bet they are.
honest.
Like,
And,
yep.
I was so disappointed when the season ended. I think they're going to do more, but when the season ended on Netflix. Anyway, yeah, I need a guy too. So for those that are serious, and are, God, should I name off all the traits since we're just putting them out there? Spiritual, sense of humor, working is really a must. You Jobs are good.
Yes, yes,
I'm not
that's right.
supporting you, right? We're not supporting them.
Yeah, not abusive or control freak.
Oh God, yeah.
Preferably,
Keep
yeah,
keep keep going. What else?
somebody who don't smoke, somebody who don't smoke. Somebody who don't mind help cleaning up. Somebody who's clean. But the first important thing is that he got to be godly, and somebody who is willing to go to church with me and seek God's face, because I believe that if we pray together, we will stay together.
Aw, yeah, that sounds beautiful. I'll join you in that. Um,
Mhm.
how have you been affected now that you've actually got the book out?
Well, I just feel like it's my commission to just continue. I'm the Bible school teacher, and wherever I go, I just keep trying to be encouraging to people. I try to look at people that look like they're having a bad day. They ain't smiling, and I try to say, "Hey, put a smile on your face, baby. You're still here." I just want to be encouraging, and I just want to be with people. I just want to give people hope, and that's what I do. As I go along my day, whether I'm going to doctor's appointments or going to church or see my daughter and my grandkids, I just try, when I'm around people, I try to be funny. I want people to be okay with life. Whatever we got, like somebody complained about the rain. I said, well, if it didn't have the rain, we wouldn't have no produce. Our grass would be burning. So God knows what we need. Just see it as look for the good stuff in life. People always want to see the negative, and that's why I don't tell people that I hurt every day, because I don't want anybody to feel like, oh my God, here's the guy always crying about he hurt, oh Lord. So I don't do that. I put a smile on my face, and I just try to keep it moving. I try to make other people smile as well.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I think that's what more people should do. It's like paying a joyful smile forward.
Hmm. Give out hugs. People like hugs. Sometimes you don't understand how a hug makes somebody feel like somebody care and they matter. Everybody matter. So sometimes just give a person a hug just because you never know what that's going to mean to them.
And not just a Hollywood hug either, where you have like
I'm
2 feet between you.
Yeah. I'm talking about hold tight and give some pressure. Let them know that I see you. I see you. Like one thing I heard on TV somewhere, someone told me that in different countries, when we say hello and stuff as a sign of greetings and put our hands out, instead of them saying hello, their form of saying hello was I see you. So I'm gonna start doing it. Instead of me saying hello, shaking hands, I'm gonna say I see you because I want people to know that they have connected. I'm looking at them, I'm watching them. So what you do is gonna reflect on what I feel about you. I see you.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's been fun having you on. How does it
Oh,
feel
it's my
like being
pleasure.
on the other end of the interview?
Huh?
How does it feel being on the other end of the interview?
It feels a little strange because I'm usually interviewing someone else. It feels a little strange, but I like it. You know why? Because I never know what someone wants to know. And I just hope that through whatever I said, I hope one person is affected. I can't reach everybody, but if one person got something out of what I said, it makes me feel good because people don't understand. If you want to feel happy when you're going through a bad day, bless somebody else, do something for somebody else, and that will make you feel good inside that you ain't gonna worry about how bad your situation is. Go ahead and bless somebody else.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah, I can't wait till more people think of like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what state are you in now?
Right now I'm in Alabama,
Okay. Well, at least
but
I thought you were in Georgia. That's close.
no. I got it's close by. That's the border state, so it takes about maybe 40 minutes, close to an hour, to get to my daughter's house. But I'm close enough that I can get there, but I'm further enough away that I don't interfere in her life, because that's her life. As much as I try to share wisdom with her, with anybody, you can share the wisdom, but you can't get mad if they don't take it. Because a lot of times somebody got to do it their way and see that it don't work because you don't get my age and don't learn some things. So I'm grateful that I'm close enough to see my grandkids grow and be close to my baby because that's the only child that I got. But I'm far enough away that, okay, I'm not a problem to you and y'all can't come to my house. Let's should call because you don't want to waste that gas coming that far.
Yeah. Does your mother live in Alabama too?
Oh no, she live in the Carolinas, bless her heart.
Oh. Oh. I thought you guys lived very closer together. But you just talk a
No,
lot.
we talk often. We talk every day on the phone. And my mom sometime and she would drive down and spend a week with me. My mom, she's in her 80s. She still drives a car. She still lives alone. But she's a phenomenal woman. She just got it going on. And she's still wearing heels. And if I start having these injuries and surgeries, I try to keep my heel no more than one and 1/4 inch. Man, she be wearing them high heels and she be twisting out her little switch. I said, "Go on, baby. I want to be like her when I get over this."
It's the generation, okay? I can't wear
Uh-huh.
heels either. You know, I grew up on
Yes.
flip flops and gym shoes. Give me a break, right?
Uh-huh.
Getting
Uh,
heels, no way. Sorry.
uh-huh. That's
Well, again,
okay.
Terry, you'll have to come back on again. This was really fun and I think very educational for people.
Thank you. And I will, and I just want to say to the listeners, continue to listen to Revolution Radio because she has phenomenal guests. There's always something that you can learn or appreciate or enjoy. And if you want to, check me out on Unmask on Blog Talk Radio with Authoress Terry E every Friday at 7:30 p.m. 347-945-6003 or befriend me on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn. Terry E. I'm there and we can communicate. And y'all have a blessed week coming up and do something positive. Sometime get out of your head and do something for somebody else and you'll see how good it makes you feel.
Gosh, on that, what else can I say other than do a random act of kindness? I'm not even going to try to follow
Yes.
that, okay? Yeah, that was too good.
Thank you,
Uh,
darling.
oh, we got 1 minute left. Anything else you want to say in 1 minute or less?
Prayer changes things.
That's true. And I agree with you. Oh, and next week I am going to have Judy Bellows on, and she's going to just got back from Syria and really, tell us what it is like in Syria, not just what the government tells us what it is like. And it's nothing at all what the government says. And I'm also going to have Julie Levine in from Topanga Peace Activists. And she's going to give us some updates on what the activists in her area are doing and smart meters. And that'll be next week. It'll be fun. Oh, all that. On that note, have a great week, everybody, and aloha.